This is a demonstration of the ORBNET Evidence Safe software for protecting evidential video in Milestone. We'll begin in the Milestone Smart Client and we'll switch to the Playback tab. We'll go and select a camera and switch into time selection mode to choose a window of recorded video that we wish to protect with the evidence safe. Now we'll click on the Create Evidence Lock button, which will open up the Evidence Lock dialog box. Here we need to input the standard Milestone Evidence Lock fields plus additional metadata, in particular the operation name, which is mandatory for creating entries into the evidence safe. You can also adjust the interval start and end dates and times, set the fully qualified path to the user export directory. Note some of these details are saved in the user's profile, so when they reopen the evidence lock dialog they are pre-populated to save time on future evidence locks. Also support the standard Milestone evidence lock retention periods. Note that these only apply to the evidence lock within Milestone and not the evidence safe export. We can also add additional cameras so that the single export will include recorded video from both of these devices. Once ready, we'll click Create. This ensures that all of the correct fields have been inputted, and we receive a notification in the Smart Client that the request for the evidence lock export has been received. In the background, the evidence safe export service will commence the export of all of the devices listed within the dialog. Once the export has successfully completed, the user will receive an email from the evidence safe export service detailing the evidence lock that has been exported, including the path that was provided for the user export. We'll now go and review in the Smart Client player the exported video. For user exports, the Smart Client player is always included within the user export folder alongside the exported video. Here we have the Smart Client player, which is opened from the export with all of the cameras that we selected and enables side-by-side playback for comparison. Next we'll go into the Milestone Management Client and look at the Evidence Safe dashboard. This will show a list of all items within the Evidence Safe and various details such as current status, standard evidence lock fields, operation name, the Milestone device names that were included within that evidence lock export, current notification statuses, export size, and the file path locations for the master and user exports. If a evidence lock has failed to export correctly, there is an option to manually retry and export. Note all exports are automatically retried 3 times, after which the manual retry will be required. The last error message will be displayed within the dashboard, and the designated administrator will receive email notification of any failed exports. The dashboard itself can be sorted by clicking on the column headers, and all of the data within the dashboard can be exported to a CSV file for future reference. The CSV includes all data that is seen within the dashboard in the management client. Also included within the dashboard data is a hash. This is taken after the export is completed on the master export data folder, alongside which is the hash file kept within this file, which includes details of the folder against the hash which the hash was run, the hash value, and when that was run. This can be used to confirm that the data has not changed in any way. To support this, there is a periodic integrity check which will automatically run based on the frequency set within the management client settings panel. This integrity check will verify that all the master export folders are still accessible and that the hashes remain unchanged. An email will be generated after the integrity check has run, and that will go to the designated administrator. Once the integrity check has completed, this is an example of the report. Go to the administrator email, in this case indicating one export which has a hash mismatch. The administrator can then return to the management client and review the item which has a status now of integrity check failed, and review the last error message that is displayed. Other settings available within the management client determine whether the smart client player is included with every master export. In order to save storage space, this could be turned off, and then if and when required, the player can be exported from the dashboard by selecting an evidence lock export and clicking on export player. Additional feature included: if there are already a number of pre-existing evidence locks within Milestone, then these can be imported into the evidence safe using the bulk import feature. There are 2 options for running this: either to import all evidence locks or import only evidence locks created between a certain date range. Note that when the import is run, any evidence locks which already exist within the evidence safe will not be overwritten. Once the bulk import is underway, the additional evidence locks detected within Milestone that are not within the evidence safe will start to appear in the dashboard, and the statuses will update as those evidence locks are processed. And this concludes the demonstration of the ORBNET Evidence Safe software for protecting evidential video in Milestone.